What's up guys, Vital Syntax here, and this is a Battlefield 4 wishlist video, specifically in regards to Battlelog, obviously being the service that we use to connect with other players and play Battlefield games, and also Medal of Honor Warfighter has been thrown in there. So I wanted to go over some of the good things that I liked about Battlelog, some of the things that I didn't like, and some of the features that I would like to be added that I think would give us a better overall Battlelog experience. Now, there are some people that don't like Battlelog at all. They don't want any type of browser-based social hub integration. They just want an in-game server browser. And I'll talk about that in a bit, and I understand where people are coming from in that aspect. But for me personally, I love Battlelog, and I think it's awesome how it connects Battlefield players. It gives us like a social hub for, playing Battlefield games. It gives us the latest news, patches and community events, and it gives us this basically community hub that allows us to communicate with the developers. Maybe that's on a forum, or just communicate with each other by doing messages, sending people's posts on their wall and things like that. So overall, I think there's a lot of good stuff about Battlelog. Yeah, there's definitely things that were broken and that have been patched and fixed, but I mean, the server browser, for example, it has these advanced filters, it has a history, it has favorites, it has the ability to see which players are in a server and join other, friends that are playing in different servers and see what servers are playing and what the ticket count is left on the server before you join. There's just so much information and depth to the actual server browser. It's actually really awesome server browser if you compare it to a lot of other first-person shooters that maybe just show the ping, what map they're playing, and the name of the server. Whereas this one, you have all this detailed information about the map rotation and things like that, and that's, I think, awesome. The actual server browser itself is pretty cool. The friends list has, the ability to send each other text messages. You can do voice chat. I don't really like the voice chat. I would much rather use something like Mumble or TeamSpeak. Maybe they could add some type of integration to that. I don't know. I like the ability to, post on people's walls, and it kind of has that Facebook-esque kind of design where you can send people links to videos that you've maybe worked on, or have just messages sent between each other. And also has Origin integration. You can have all your friends from Origin transferred over to Battlelog, and I think that's pretty cool as well. There's also the platoons feature. I mean, there's over 1 million platoons already registered on Battlelog. They have this cool logo designer where you can, basically design an avatar or logo for your platoon or for your clan or whatever. So those are some of the key aspects that I really like about Battlelog, and I think they did a really good job on. Now, some of the things that I'm going to complain about. The first one is a premium queue. Essentially what this is if you buy Battlefield Premium, you actually get in a prioritized queue, and it kind of puts you in front of other people, even if they've been waiting for a longer period of time. Now, a lot of people have Battlefield Premium, including myself, and you don't really notice it, but I can imagine if I was a player that didn't have Battlefield Premium, it would be really frustrating to be, sitting in a queue for a server, and then somebody jumps ahead of you and takes your spot just because he paid, extra money to get the downloadable content before you did. And I think that that's just something that should be removed. Any type of aspect of if you pay more, you get an advantage, whether that's an advantage in a queue, whether that's an advantage in a game, getting better weapons. I think that's always something that needs to be fixed and removed from any type of game. There's also issues with sometimes the server browser doesn't save your filters. I think they fixed some of those things. There's a 100 friend limit if you reach 100 friends, which I don't think most people will, including myself. I don't even have close to 100. But people out there that are really social and that I want to have a lot of people on their friends list are limited to 100, and I believe that's an integration issue with Origin because Origin's limited to 100. So that's probably something that EA and DICE are gonna have to work together on to increase that friend limit to something higher than 100. And then my biggest complaint is actually about servers themselves and the admins of specific servers. There's a lot of admin abuse, people like getting kicked for stupid reasons, and I think there's a lot of issues with bad server abuse by admins, and there's no real way to kind of report those players for doing, acts that aren't really fair to players, like kicking you for having too high stats, or kicking you for killing one of the admins with a certain gun or something ridiculous like that. And there's also fake map rotations. Like if you use the server filters and you filter out servers that only have map rotations because most people want to play on more than one map, well, some of the servers have it set so there is a server or a map rotation, but it's a rotation of the exact same map over and over. And so essentially it makes that filtering broken. There's also fake player counts. Now this is something that I've kind of debated back and forth in where you have these dynamic servers where they'll be listed as 24 players, but once 24 people join, you'll change to a 32-man server, and then once 32 people join, you'll join to a 48-man server. And essentially the reason they do that is because it allows them to actually have people see their server, because if they had a default at a 64-man server and there's only 20 people in there, then most people aren't going to see that server in their search results because they have it filtered as only servers with 1 to 5 slots or only servers with 6 to 10 slots. That way they don't see the servers that are really empty because they don't want to join a really empty server. But the problem is I join a 24-man server because I want to play at 24 people, and I think that maybe 32, 48, or 64-man people on that small map. Perfect example is Operation Metro in Conquest or something like that. And you join like a 32-man server, and then all of a sudden it's 64-man, and you've got this huge clusterfuck of players. And I don't know, there just needs to be some type of way to remove false advertising essentially from, or misleading servers from Battlelog. Now, moving on to some of the things I think would be awesome to actually add on to the features that are already integrated into Battlelog. First one is game integration, the ability to have a server browser in-game, so you don't have to close the game down or tab out of your game. Now, in fact, there already is a little bit of integration. You don't actually have to close your game if you're going to switch servers. You can actually just minimize your game and join another server, and while you're waiting in the queue, you can keep playing in the server you're playing. And that's something that I've only learned recently thanks to a post somebody made on the Reddit Battlelog subreddit, or Battlefield subreddit. But I think it'd be better if there was ability to maybe have an in-game server browser. Maybe you could press a certain button and the server browser comes down, or maybe even has the same interface that Battlelog.com or Battlefield or Battlelog.battlefield.com has. That way you're used to the layout and the interface that it uses. That way you could join a server without having to tab out at all and have your game minimized. Or maybe you want to change something on your post or on your wall or something, or do something else on Battlelog other than just changing servers. You could do that without having to leave the game, or just having some of the integration so that it's not just a dedicated server browser on the web and no server browser in game. Maybe something like they did with Medal of Honor Warfighter, although the issue I had with Warfighter is that the in-game server browser was very narrow. It was very dumbed down in comparison to Battlelog's server browser. So hopefully they can have kind of a server browser between the two, in-game and on Battlelog, that are very similar and have similar features. Now, another one is privacy, and this is something they've already talked about and something that they're working on. But for me, the biggest thing is adding two things. The first one is the ability to go invisible or offline. That way you can play, Battlelog without having people message you. Maybe you just want to play for a couple minutes and some guy's messaging you because he wants to play with you for a couple hours, but you have to go to work. Well, then you don't have to go through the trouble of explaining, why you can't play or why you have to leave. Just having the ability to either go offline or go invisible. And I actually think having an offline mode is better, because if you go invisible, then you can still send and receive messages. So you're going to be receiving messages from somebody that's invisible, and then that's like kind of confusing. So are they actually offline or are they invisible? This is something that Steam has done, and they just decided not to do an invisible mode and just feature an offline mode. That way you can still play your games and you're just not on the friends list, but you're still on Steam, but you're not online on the friends list, if that makes sense. The next one is adding a ability to hide certain stats or hide your profile completely, because I think Battlelog and its plethora of stat features, which I think are awesome, the ability to view all your stats and stuff, should be controllable. I mean, if I don't want somebody to see certain stats because I'm embarrassed by them or something like that, let's say I'm a really bad player as far as kill-death ratio, and I only have like a 0.25 kill-death ratio because I'm just not that good of a player as far as shooting mechanics, but I'm a really good team player and I have tons of revives and health and I give people ammo all the time and I play the objective and I have tons of points for capturing different flags and destroying different objectives. Then I could show those, choose which stats to show off type of thing. Maybe have some type of customizable profile where maybe you could have your favorite stat featured, or have your character and character customization featured, and have your favorite weapon featured where your character's holding your weapon that you use the most, or the one that you like the most. I don't know, just having some type of ability to hide certain things and show certain things would be really cool. The next thing is server management. And basically this is the ability to rent servers in Battlelog and also have control over servers in Battlelog. Right now you have to go through a third-party hosting service, and you also have to use third-party Archon, or basically a way to communicate with the server and the client. That way you can change, the server settings, change the map rotation, change different aspects about damage, modifiers, respawn limits, things like that. And having the ability to change all that in Battlelog would be way easier, because there's definitely kind of a lack of features as far as some of the Archon tools that are out there, because they're third-party developed, and they could just integrate all of those features that Battlelog or Battlefield was designed for into a very easy to use and accessible on the web interface if they integrate it with Battlelog. The next, and there's only 2 things left, I know this is getting long. The next one is YouTube integration. I think it'd be really cool if they had, first of all, a battle recorder, but the ability to record gameplay, upload it to YouTube, and share it on your profile. Maybe have like a video section under each person's profile. They can share their favorite clips. You can send clips between each other, and having integration with YouTube, or having integration with some other type of media, video playback service. And the last one, and this is probably one of the most important ones in my eyes, is esports support and integration. Having the ability to have working matches, because there is a match section under the server browser in Battlelog, but it doesn't really work. Nobody's really using it. I have never used it. I don't even know if it works. But having the ability to find matches, post matches, do scrims and stuff between different platoons would be really awesome. Also having a platoon leaderboard, say you have, it actually records all the results of different matches or different scrims that you do between different platoons of different clans, and having a leaderboard would be really cool. And then also maybe being able to stream matches. You could actually maybe have a live stream connected to Twitch or YouTube, and you could stream your gameplay, or somebody in spectator mode with battle recorder could stream the gameplay of an intense match to YouTube, where people could watch it on Battlelog. And also having prize tournaments would be really cool, and would really kind of promote and push esports in Battlefield to the next level. So anyway, I know it's a very long list, but if you guys have any recommendations of things you'd like to see changed or added to Battlelog, feel free to let me know what they are in the comments down below. And thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give me a like or a favorite, and I'll see you guys in the next one.